Happy Saturday again, guys. I wanted to do this video because I know the questions are going to come up all over the place. And, again, this is more of our rights getting ripped out right from under us. Okay. This is the problem that we have going on in this world because of ain't democratic socialism great? You know, if you know what the First Amendment says, okay, and I'm just going to read this to you again real quick. Congress shall make no law. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now, we all know how this goes. Congress can't tell us that you can't say you disagree with something, okay? You can trigger somebody or whatever. Congress can't say you're not allowed to trigger a liberal, okay? But the rest of the world can, and this is the problem. And this is where we get into a big issue on our rights being taken away from us. You've probably seen in the news this week that Elon Musk wants to buy Twitter, okay? I get a kick out of the fact he wants to pay $54.20 per share, okay? The 420, okay? Doing a little bit of his token up there. Had to throw that in there as a little to the government. But Musk is a unabashed libertarian, probably like a lot of us, okay? All we want is the freedom to live our lives, leave me alone, and that's it, okay? Stop trying to mandate everything in my life. Stop trying to force me to think like you do, force me to agree with everything that you say. Now, what hasn't been said, but we all know it, okay, is Musk doesn't want all this banning on Twitter to happen. Okay, the group thing. Trump was banned. The Babylon Bee was banned. Tucker Carlson was banned. Not for saying anything inflammatory or whatever, but for stating facts that Twitter and the uber liberals that run the joint didn't like. Oh, it triggers me. All right. This is something we have to stand up and fight. Now, I'm going to give you how this directly affects me and a lot of other people. Earlier this week, YouTube came out and said that they are going to demonetize any videos that don't agree with their take on what's going on in Eastern Europe. Now, it's all fine and dandy. It's their platform. Like I said, the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law. Doesn't mean YouTube can't. It's their platform. They can do whatever they want. It's no secret that YouTube content creators, most of them, are monetized and earn something off of their channels, including me. All right, I'm not going to deny that. I'm not getting rich off of this or anything like that, but there's a lot of work that goes into making videos, editing videos, researching videos, doing all the stuff we do. And the fact that YouTube puts up ads on videos, it's only fair, I think, that the content creators share in that because they're doing all the work. Okay, YouTube owns a server, big freaking deal, and all the work goes done by the content creators. Mind you, YouTube still takes 40% of any of the revenue. Okay, that's fine. Well, what they did with this new policy is not only did they make it going forward, they made it retroactive. And so what they have now done is gone onto all the YouTube channels, and any videos that you've done over the last 50 days, thereabouts, or probably even further back, anything that mentioned what's going on in Eastern Europe, they've taken back the ad revenue for those videos. Now, I have no doubt whatsoever that in the last 2 months, any videos that you've watched on my channel or a plethora of other channels, you sat through ads. Don't be fooled for a second to think that YouTube isn't charging those companies to run the ads. They've just now decided to not pay the content creators and keep 100% of it themselves. This is where you get into a real sticky situation. It's the do as I say, not as I do type thing, rules for thee and not for me. Gee, we're not going to allow you to earn anything on it when you make a comment, but of course, we still can. That's kind of what's going on. Those are your liberal plans. Okay? Again, rules for thee and not for me. The way they frame it is you have to agree with their stance in regards to what's going on over there. Now, y'all know me. I don't support either side. Okay? Not my fight, not the U.S.'s fight. Pisses me off that we have to spend money, tax money that we don't have, borrowed money that we don't have, and yet the social media companies want us to bend over backwards to do whatever we can to protect a country that isn't an ally, has nothing to do with us. And I'll give you this as a question. Let's say instead of this all being in Eastern Europe, and I'm being careful with what I say, if you probably noticed this. Let's say Alaska was what was invaded. Who do you think could come help? Who do you think could donate money? Think we would have got any help? Nah. Maybe something from Great Britain. Maybe something from Israel. The rest of Europe? No. Eastern Europe? Very, very no. A non-NATO country that isn't even an ally? I think the correct answer would be, oh, hell no. Okay? So we are being asked to do this. And I've taken this stance from the beginning. I don't agree with either side. I don't think we have anything to do with it. Yet, I am being silenced. Other YouTube channels are being silenced from talking about this. Now, we all know how YouTube does things. We all know how all social media does things. First, they start out with this. The next thing will be strikes. The next thing will be deplatforming. Now, I'd hope to think that the information I provide you guys on a variety of subjects is worth you understanding what I'm going to do. I think we have pretty much beaten the topic of Eastern Europe like a dead horse. Talked about everything. If something absolutely insane comes out, of course I'm going to talk about it. But I'm going to avoid the topic going forward and ask that in the live streams you guys do the same. For the simple reason is we know what's going to happen next is they've gone back with the monetization. They'll probably go forward with strikes, and the next thing will be deplatforming, as they've taken down, plenty of channels, let alone media channels. But I mean, like WION, Indian News, got deplatformed by YouTube. Many things have got deplatformed by Twitter, by whatever. I know a lot of you are going to come up and say, well, move to Rumble, move to Telegram, move to wherever. And my answer is going to be no. Reason being is this takes a ton of time to do. Many, 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 many of you have told me that you don't like the Rumble format. The big issue that I have with Rumble is unless you are subscribed to it, it takes about 3 days for a video to post to the public. Y'all know what I talk about most of the time is very time sensitive. Okay, if you haven't watched my video, and I can tell because everybody watches the videos in the first 24 hours I've put them out, and then it drops off the cliff because what I talked about 2 days ago was pertinent 2 days ago. Okay, things have changed. A lot of what we talk about is current events, and sure, there are some things that you can go back and watch 6 months ago. Mrs. P's recipe did not change from 6 months ago. Okay, but not a whole lot of people going back and watching a video on what'll happen in the 2020 election, right? Okay. This is why I'm not going over to other platforms. It has nothing to do with anything other than time and you guys. Because uploading to all these other platforms is a pain in the ass. All right. It takes, you hear me a lot of times. I'll tell you, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and it's near 7 o'clock when the video goes up. Why? Because if the video has to be edited, I've got to edit it, then I've got to upload it, then I've got to download it, then I've got to upload it, then YouTube has to run all their scans and everything like that. So it takes time. And, like you guys, I have a lot to do and don't need to be sitting in front of the computer 24/7. It's just me. I don't have some newsroom staff looking for all this stuff. Mrs. P helps, don't get me wrong. But, this is me. This is putting it together. So what I'm asking everybody is please bear with me. I'm trying to keep the channel going because hopefully you guys find value in what I do. I'd like to think so. But I know what's coming next is this is going to get to the point where they'll shut down channels unless you toe the party line. I've already been in contact with YouTube about this, going, what the hell's going on? Go back, stop using an algorithm and have somebody actually watch some of the videos. But what I'm asking is please refrain in the live streams, in the comments, from talking about what's going on in Eastern Europe. It'll keep the channel out of trouble. And, of course, if something critical comes up, I will talk about it. That's what bothers the crap out of me, is what I give you guys as factual information. And, that's not acceptable. This is where we are going. Our free speech is getting trashed, and there's nowhere else to go. I'm a huge supporter of Elon Musk buying Twitter. I have a Twitter handle. I don't post. Don't bother following me or anything like that here. You're not going to find anything. I have it so I can see what else is put out there. When you guys send me links and things like that, I can go look at them, because otherwise I can't open them up. But because it is the biggest way of spreading information, social media as a whole, what we're getting is one side of the information. This is what a dictatorship does. This is what tyranny does. Okay? You think of China. The only media you're allowed to look at in China is state-controlled media. Do you want to live that way in the United States? Because that's what the social media platforms are doing. I push the envelope. Y'all know that. I've got strikes many times. Get my hand slapped. But I just wanted to let everybody know that's the plan for the channel going forward. I'm not going to be silenced, but I'm going to be careful. Have a good rest of your Saturday. Pinball out.